Students of Standard 11, today I will take your class. My topic is Gauss's law. So let's start the class. Gauss's law from Coulomb's law, we will derive this today, and application of Gauss's law. Dear students, I want to summarize the previous class. In the previous class, you have learned about electric flux, and then electric area vector, and also Gauss's law. So phi equal to integration of closed surface integration of E dot ds equal to q by epsilon naught. You have learnt it yesterday. So today we will derive Gauss's law from Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law. Do you remember Coulomb's law? Coulomb's law, that means we have derived Coulomb force, that is the force between two point charges. So look everybody, if I keep a point charge anywhere, then it will around the charge an electric field will be created, isn't it? So in that electric field, okay, if I keep one unit charge, then the unit charge will experience a force due to the field creating charge, that means for the positive plus q charge. So that is called electric field intensity. The electric field intensity due to the point charge q at a distance r will be along the radius and always externally outward. You understand? So look everybody, q charge plus q charge is placed at a point A, and from the q charge at a distance r at a point B, the electric field intensity is outward, its direction is outward, externally outward, and the magnitude of electric field intensity is what? You know the formula of electric field intensity equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. That we have already learned from Coulomb's law. So dear students, if we want to find out the electric flux at the point B, then we will consider a very small area ds. Okay, so you know electric flux is the scalar product of electric field vector E and the area vector ds. Look here, the angle between the electric field vector and the area vector are along the same direction, that is along the radius. So the angle between E and ds is what? 0 degree. Okay, so we can write d phi, that means for this small area ds, the flux linked with this small area will also be small. So d phi equal to E dot ds. So if I want to find out the total flux, then we have to draw a Gaussian surface. So look, centering A and taking the radius r, if I draw a spherical surface, then that will be termed as a Gaussian surface. So if I calculate the flux of this very small area ds, then if I want to get the total flux of this spherical surface, if I want to find out the total flux, then I have to do what? I have to do integration, because in this way at each and every point, if I take a small area like ds, then I will get lot of ds. So by adding those, I will get the total surface area of this spherical surface. So look everybody, I have to do integration now. Phi equal to integration closed surface integration of E dot ds. You know this symbol is closed surface integration. So E dot ds, we can write E ds cos theta. Here theta equal to 0 degree. Okay, that I have already told you. So closed surface integration of E ds cos 0 degree. You know cos 0 equal to what? 1. So we can write closed surface integration of E ds. Here E is, that means electric field intensity is constant. Why it is constant? Because it is Gaussian surface. You have to remember it. Gaussian surface is symmetric, and the electric field intensity at each and every point on the Gaussian surface is same. Look everybody, if I if I want to find out the electric field intensity at this point, its formula will be like this: E equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r square. If I want to find out the electric field intensity at this point, that time also I will get the same electric field intensity, okay, and the direction will be along the radius. So I can take out the electric field intensity from the integration. Then I will do integration only ds. So closed surface integration of ds equal to what? Total surface area. That is what, you know, spherical surface area is what? 4 pi r square. So 4 pi is cut, then r square. What will remain? Q by epsilon naught. So Gauss's law is proved or not? Of course it is proved. That means, you know, Gauss's law is what? Phi integration of E dot ds equal to Q by epsilon naught. So from Coulomb's law we can derive Gauss's law. So another thing I want to give you as your homework, that you will try, that you will derive Coulomb's law from Gauss's law, and of course you will show it to the messenger. So now I will calculate the electric field intensity at a point, at a distance r from this charged rod of infinite length. That means the length of the rod is from plus infinity to minus infinity, and it is charged, and the charge is distributed uniformly, okay. So the direction of the electric field intensity will be what? You know, outward, in this way. If I consider the left side also, you know, from positive to outward direction. So here I will find out the electric field intensity at a distance r from the charged rod. That means this is the direction of electric field intensity. So from the rod at a distance r at point P, if I want to calculate the electric field intensity at this point, okay. So the charge density of the rod is lambda, charge density. That means the number of charge in unit length, lambda equal to Q by L, okay, you can write it. So now I will find out the electric field intensity at this point. So for finding out electric field intensity at this point, I will consider a Gaussian surface. Here I will take a cylindrical surface, okay, whose radius will be equal to r. So here I will consider a cylindrical surface that will be taken as the Gaussian surface. In this way I will take a cylindrical surface whose length is L, okay, whose length is L, and the charge in this cylindrical surface is this, okay, that is the positive charge, where the charge density lambda equal to Q by L. Now look everybody, here I get three surfaces, isn't it? One is 1, 2 and 3. That means I will get the flux in these three surfaces, isn't it? This is the plane surface, this is also plane surface, and this is the curved surface. You know, in a cylinder always have what? Three surfaces. Look, if you consider this plane as cylindrical cylinder, then this round surface, and this, and the body is the curved surface. So three surfaces. So here if I want to measure the flux, electric flux, I have to consider these three surfaces. So total flux of this cylindrical body is what? Phi equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. So look here everybody, at point P, if I consider a very small area ds, okay, ds, a very small area ds, so ds and the electric field intensity along the same direction, that means the angle between E, electric field intensity, and ds is equal to what? 0 degree. So here theta equal to 0 degree. Okay, now on this surface, that means on this upper surface of the cylindrical object, the direction of area vector is what? Upward direction. I have told you the direction of the surface is always, area vector is always outward, perpendicularly outward. Okay, and I have already told you that is along that the direction will be always towards you. So if you see the surface from this position, then you will see the direction towards you. And also the second surface, that means number 2, here also the direction of the area vector is towards downward. Okay, so look everybody, in this surface and in this surface, the angle between electric field intensity and the area vector is what? 90 degree, because look here electric field intensity along that direction, and here also electric field intensity along this direction. If I consider the left side, that time also electric field intensity direction along this side, along that direction. So here also the angle is what? 90 degree, and here also angle equal to 90 degree. Okay, so I will get here 3 flux, that means total flux phi equal to phi 1 plus phi 2 plus phi 3. Flux equal to closed surface integration of E dot E ds, closed surface integration of E dot ds, closed surface integration of E dot ds. But here E ds equal to E dot ds equal to what? You know, E ds cos theta, E ds cos theta. Here for surface 1 cos 0, the cos 90 degree, then closed surface integration of E ds cos 90 degree for surface 2, and for surface 3, এটা surface 3 এর জন্য E ds cos 0 degree. Okay, so cos 90 degree equal to what? You know, 0. So this flux, that means phi 1 and phi 2 will be what? 0. These 2 will be 0. Only we will get the value of this. E is, so here will remain what? E ds, because cos 0 equal to 1. E ds, E is constant, we can take it outside of the integration sign. তাহলে integration of ds. So here I will get the if we integrate ds, then I will get the total surface area of this curved surface. That means this curved surface. Okay, this curved surface, I will get the total surface area. So you know the area, surface area of the curved surface is what? 2 pi RL. Okay, here 2 pi R is the this radius and L is the length of the cylinder. So I can write E into 2 pi RL. Okay, flux equal to what? According to Gauss's law, Q by epsilon naught, isn't it? So in place of flux, I can write Q by epsilon naught, isn't it? So Q by epsilon naught equal to E into 2 pi RL. Let's turn over the page. So here I can write E equal to Q by, look in the previous page I got what? Q by epsilon naught equal to E into 2 pi RL. 2 pi RL is what? That is the surface area of the curved surface. So we can write E equal to Q by 2 pi RL epsilon naught. Look everybody, at first I have told you the charge density, that is lambda equal to Q by L. Okay, so here this Q by L equal to, I can write what? Lambda. So the equation can come as 1 by 2 pi epsilon naught into lambda by R. Here the electric field intensity near a charged rod, okay, of infinite length. So today I am to close my class today. In the next class I will show you some other applications of Gauss's law. Good night everybody.